professional bass player. My name's Deborah and this is the video journal of my career transition. And that was the Bee Gees, How Deep Is Your Love. I've just started to practice that for our rehearsal with Divine Funk on Sunday. And I'm just going to turn my amp off. I realise actually I posted my video on Friday, and I was actually on the train going up to Bristol to see one of my very best friends, Kate, and have a lovely weekend and long overdue quality time with her. And I realised I'd posted it without editing it. Normally I play that bass line round a few times and just to warm myself up, and then I'll just cut the front bit off and post the rest. So apologies for giving you a really long rehearsal. But it reminded me just to sort of state how these diaries are, that mistakes, that, you know, that's probably a mistake, but it's part of the process for me, and to put it up there and move on, not to worry too much about mistakes or seeming too professional in these videos, because, you know, if this is gonna work out, me and you meeting like this, I want to be able to be real and have moments where I put something up and I didn't quite think that through and what have you, because this is the real deal. When it's the show and it's all polished and we've been rehearsing behind the scenes for hours and hours, then that's another thing. But this is you know, real life, and you know, making these videos twice a week. I try and do it in one take so that it's not too onerous, and you know, I could spend all day editing, and actually I need to spend all day playing and preparing and rehearsing. So I've before I started recording today, I've just sent an email to EMI. Colin from Colgate Films, bless Colin and Bridget, they're so handy to have on side. They reminded me that before our promo goes out, I need to ask Simply Red's permission. Wouldn't that be awful if the people I offended by Truly Red were Simply Red? That would just kill me. So ChatGPT very kindly wrote me an email that I've sent off to EMI, and hopefully get all the rights sorted so that you know, I'm being well behaved and not making money out of somebody else's work, which I don't want to do. And then today I will be reviewing the promo videos for Colin's matched each of the songs to Joe's done our production, and Colin's matched each of the songs to the video that he shot, and so I'm going to be reviewing those. Obviously I can't show you yet because I haven't paid for the licensing rights, so I will do that. What else have I got to show you? Pedals. I know you want an update on pedals. I can tell you some of the bits, but I'm actually missing, and it should be coming today, a daisy chain plug. So let me show you. Let me just show you what I've got here. Here are my fabulous pedals in this beautiful little handbag that comes with it. Very handy, although it is another piece of kit. But I really love this. And I've done my Velcroing on the pedal. Here's my Pedalboard, Pedal Train Nano. And I've put my Velcro bits on it. And I've got my leads, which with pancake ends. And I was hoping to show you what they each do. I mean, the polytune, that's pretty obvious, but you know, it's always good for beginners to have that. However, I need a power supply. This sounds obvious to you guys, but it wasn't to me, to go between each pedal. So what I've got to do is there's a daisy chain plug that will have a power supply that goes to here, to here, to here, and hooks them all up. So when I've got, there you go. How beautiful is that though? When I've got that working, I will have a practice with each of the pedals and show you what they can do, which will be of no interest to the experienced bass players amongst you, but to beginners like, well, I'm not a beginner, but the intermediate and up and coming bass players like myself, that's you know, that's useful. I actually watched a video from JJ Loves Guitars on how to put the Velcro on, just to make sure I was doing it in the right way, and I didn't want to spoil it. So, but loving this bit of kit. I don't want too much kit. I'm not, you've got to store it all somewhere, haven't you? And that can be a pain. And the other thing I bought was a string muffler to, Mark Monk said, when I'm getting all over excited and throwing my hands up in the air and bashing the strings, that a string muter would help with that. So I bought one of those as well. And that's actually giving a really nice sound. I do need to sort out the sound for you, I know, because in here I've got my amp down here and it's sounding all kind of lovely. I'm really enjoying it. And then when I hear it back on a mobile phone, it sounds dreadful. So I do apologise about that. Like the bass sound, not my voice. I'll see what I can do to sort that out. If anyone out there has got ideas, please put some notes in the comments. I'd be really happy to hear what other people do. So what am I up to this week? We have a rehearsal for Divine Funk on Sunday, incorporating our 3 new songs. So Suzanne by Ray, How Deep Is Your Love by the Bee Gees, and I Want to Be Your Lover by Prince. So I've got to practice those. I've also got to sort out, our drummer can't make it, so I've got to sort out a backing track so that we can rehearse to a drummer. I've got to, what else have I got to do? Sort out, I've got to do some of the marketing. I've got to get the posters up and start pushing the tickets, because people need a much longer lead time to prepare for going out than I realised. But this week I was going to talk to you a little bit about the Beatles, because sometimes I get quite tired, as we all do, and a bit overwhelmed with everything. And I try and then bring it back to the now, just put one foot in front of the other. And this week I watched 2 Beatles films back to back. I watched Man on the Run with Paul McCartney, and I watched Accidental Film Company, which I think it's Accidental Film Company. That's about Handmade films, which was George Harrison's company. And the one about Paul McCartney, I always return to Paul McCartney for inspiration, having read his book, The Lyrics, and understood how he just feels free to find creativity anywhere and everywhere. He doesn't judge it. He doesn't scrutinise it. He lets something silly that's occurred to him develop as an idea. He was talking in the lyrics about reading a circus poster, and just him and John reading all the lyrics, all the written text on the circus poster, and turning that into a song. I can't remember which one it is off the top of my head, but one of you will know. And I was just watching this film about his time with Wings, who I adore Wings. I know it's not necessarily a popular opinion, but I have always adored Wings and found their songs really interesting and quirky and varied. And he was just talking, or what I noticed about it was he just retreated to find inspiration. The source was from within. He just kept going back to the source, whether, when things weren't going well, he'd go back to his farm in Scotland, and just reconnect with music and let music pull him forward. And I really liked that. He was doing it for himself. He wasn't ever saying, well, what do you want? What would make you happy? And I think that must be an enormous amount of pressure on a Beatle to give the public what they want rather than to make what feels right to you. Whether or not we're pleased with Wings or more pleased with Wings than we were with the Beatles is, really neither here nor there. It's up to him what music he wants to make. And, returning to the source of inspiration that's within yourself, influenced by other people, but it's within yourself, was helpful. And then the next night, my husband Spencer wanted to watch something about films, so he very kindly chose something. He is very interested in Handmade Films as a company, but it's, it's Beatles and it's films. So we watched the one about Handmade Films, and I really adored that. What came through was George Harrison's Buddhist and Hare Krishna principles of love and not really profit, though I need to make a profit because, I need to pay myself and I need to pay Martha and I need to pay Caroline. I'm already paying the musicians. That's great. Before you wonder, I've achieved my first objective, which is to pay the musicians. But the next bit is to find salaries for the team, only a small team. And I really took heart from what I saw George Harrison do, that he just backed things that he thought would be good, made by people and talent that he believed in. And that is really important to me. I don't really work with anybody that I don't think, oh, you're really good. Because I just can't afford to back people that don't try hard enough or don't turn up or haven't quite got it. So, I've ended up working with some very good people. I'm very fortunate in that. And I'm backing things that I like. And George Harrison, because of him and Handmade films like The Life of Brian got made, Mona Lisa's Smile, Time Bandits, and very importantly, With Nail and I. And I'm sure you're sort of shouting at the screen about your favourite handmade film that got made. I mean, I also learnt about the mistakes that he made, was that he lost control and he ended up sort of, according to this film anyway, ceding control to this lawyer and financier called Dennis. And that seemed to be where it went wrong. So that was an important learning. I won't be ceding control to anyone. Because, it's my investment and my hard work, really. So it has to be my final call. So I found that sort of helpful and hopeful. Obviously, I don't have the money of George Harrison or the experience or the sort of long career in music or the fame. I think, fame opened a lot of doors for him. But I do have faith. I do have fantastically talented people around me, and I'm pretty well organised about this sort of stuff. I'm a capable person, so I do have faith in myself. I back myself to do this, and I do pray and ask for God's help and for God to be on my side and or to help me do this, to help me realise this project. Anyway, that's enough of my time and probably enough of your time. We've both got to get back to the things we've got to get done today, whatever it was that you paused to do. In the case of Mark, who's painting Martha's bedroom, that's what you've got to do, Mark. You've got to put this down, stop vaping, and get back and paint Martha's room. Okay, I will see you on Friday. You take care. Bye-bye.